Hello.
Good morning or good moaning.
Or whatever time of the day it is, if you're listening or if you're watching.
Somebody was saying to me the other day that they've only just realised that it's coffee moaning. They've always thought it was coffee morning.
What?
Yeah. And they said, well, where's coffee moaning come from? I said, it's always been coffee moaning. It started pandemic when we all wanted to moan and groan, didn't it?
Yeah. It'd be quite boring if it was just coffee morning, wouldn't
I was a bit concerned. We might have to put it in capitals.
Oh, maybe we need to put moan really largely. Anyway, for
Bring
those
out
of you,
the capital letters.
So just as a quick heads up, for those of you who've been with us from the get-go and have been with us for a long time, you know we do this pretty much every day of the week, 6 days a week. It's the newspapers on a Saturday, not on a Sunday. Someone had the bright idea backstage to, why don't you plop it up as a podcast too? Because, you know, it might be nicer and more convenient for people to listen to us gibbering nonsense.
Without having to actually look
at us. So that is the case now. So on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, this will be uploaded. So for those of you who are listening...
They will miss things like this.
You won't know what she's doing right now. But suffice it to say, there isn't a smile on my face.
I'm doing bite-sized bits of exercise. I'm doing exercise snacking. Because if you haven't got time to do it in your...
Sorry for everyone listening. You just let one go there.
To do it in your day, just jump out at any point and
I think there'll
do
be
a couple of minutes.
For any real sort of ardent fans, there'll be something quite funny to see it happen and then listen to it knowing what happened.
What actually happened, yeah.
Yeah, anyway. So Nadia, can you put your knickers back on? Anyway, what you'll also hear, if you're only listening and you've only come to us on podcast, is that we have a wonderful community of followers, subscribers, family guests, lovely people. Every now and then you get the odd arsehole, but everyone here we love. And so when you hear us saying random names like, I don't know, hello Lee Durrant, or hi Zoe, or Good Chip Lollipop, or Faith Goodman, we're talking to the lovely people here who are live with us on YouTube.
But if you'd like to leave a comment, if you're listening on podcast, you can comment too, below, not above, yeah. And so what do we do here? So we
sum it up, baby.
We beam live from our home, and
drink coffee.
What we do is, we got kind of sick of the rolling news, the scroll of terror, we used to call it. So what we do here is we have a look around the news. We mostly do the big stories. We'll touch on them.
We'll touch on them all.
But we're also looking for the other stuff, the stuff that's just like the water cooler chat.
Yeah, it might be a show that's been on that sparks a debate. Yeah. It might be, some sort of it might be something that's in the press or culturally is in our lives, like, I don't know, getting your body ready for the summer, or it might be about mental health.
Please God, why did you say getting your body? My most hated thing. That is certainly something we would not cover.
Hang on a minute, we've covered it so many times. What are you talking about?
No, I have never said the words get your body ready for the summer.
I'm not saying you suggest it. Here we go. The other thing we do is we argue and we disagree and we bite at each other, but sometimes we have sex. So, you might want to watch.
Can I just pause you? Right, first of all, for those that don't know us, we both have ADHD. And one of the very big symptoms for some with ADHD is to always say the things that you shouldn't say, and Mark is that person. So for our regulars here, they know and they forgive him. If you're new and you don't forgive him, please tell him and he might behave better.
And if you're on a tube or you're driving or anything like that, knob jockey.
Oh, Mark, please now. Right.
I want to say, look, what is going on here? People are buying memberships for people like lunatics. This is something that you can do on the YouTube channel, anyone listening. We won't be doing this every day, guys. This is just to kind of make people who do come to the podcast understand. So Stacey, flipping heck, Stace,
I'm worried about you.
I'm worried about you. Yeah, I am. In a nice way. Don't take it personally, because in a nice way. And you're very, very generous. But not only Stacey, we've also got Ellery, and we've also got Ashley, and we've also got Karen. Naughty, but nice. Thank you very much.
Very sweet.
These are memberships that people have bought for other people.
I put my shorts on yesterday and it was pretty damn hideous. That's all I'm going to say.
Right. I noticed a few irises in the garden wilt.
But I put them on anyway because I am loving this hashtag, wear the damn shorts.
Is that a hashtag?
I was only cleaning up the garden and stuff. Yeah, it is. Wear the damn shorts, because so many women will not wear shorts, will not wear a sleeveless
true, I
top
can't think of women
because
wearing
their arms
shorts.
aren't good enough, the legs aren't good enough. So a hot weekend will come like this, and people will be dreading it because they're going to be covering everything up.
I'm wearing my shorts.
So just wear the damn shorts.
Women in shorts. This is an interesting topic. I'm thinking about this. Can I say something?
Yes.
I don't know if I like a woman in shorts.
Well, it's not really about you.
No, I realise that. but I don't know if I do.
This is after seeing me.
No.
Is this directly after yesterday? After the first wearing of the shorts?
They weren't nice shorts, though, were
No,
they?
they weren't. I mean, they were. I saw you look at them, and a little part of you died inside. They were very sort of British Home Stores, C&A.
Nothing against BHS.
No, but they were like, you know. But I literally put them on because I was sitting inside a green infested spa that I was cleaning. So they were just disgusting, but it was funny because as I walked out, you could see Mark going, oh my God, is this the future?
I suppose it's weird. I'm just thinking about that. Yes, is this the future?
So maybe there's going to be another hashtag saying, hashtag don't wear the damn
Don't wear the shorts.
Damn, don't wear the shorts.
It's not that I don't think shorts suit people. I just don't. I can't.
Suit me?
I don't know shorts. I can't think of many women who wear shorts.
It's because you don't mix in those circles anymore, don't you?
I mean,
you're
women
hot,
who play tennis. Well, no, they don't wear shorts.
Women in hot pants. That part of your life's gone.
Those are shorts. Yes, I saw a trailer for Fast and the Furious the other day. Fast and the Spurious. And they had very, very short pants on.
Right, let's move on now. So first of all, we cannot go any further without talking about dear Tina Turner.
Tina Turner.
Oh my God, I loved Tina Turner. What about you? We've never had a conversation about
Well, we
Tina.
actually have. And I think I've said before, I was never a fan.
Oh, that's right.
Of
Of her style.
her style, but I love her story.
And her as a person.
And I love her, and she looked and she appeared in every interview and in every scenario. She just seemed like an absolutely wonderful, wonderful woman.
My sisters and I used to just desperately try and do impersonations of her. Because it was so unique, the way she sang, the way she held the microphone, the way she stomped
And
about.
the way she
And we would
performed.
end up in absolute hysterics.
She'd sort of stomp.
Because we would just look over, where she would always just look so powerful, wouldn't she?
I think of the 80s kind of, there were the Whitney Houstons of the 80s. I think if I was to choose, I think what I liked about Tina Turner was that she sort of went towards rock as much as she did. It wasn't, when I think of Tina Turner, I think of rock songs.
I want to introduce you to that Bryan Adams. I remember
And when she'd
Bryan
sing,
Adams, Bryan
and she'd
Adams
literally,
leap onto the
do you remember
stage.
she'd literally have to almost
Yeah.
brace her entire body?
Yeah.
Because what was going to come out was so enormous. Her
But
ribcage.
I would suggest, was it difficult just subliminally for men, the way she performed? Because the way that she performed wasn't sort of pretty,
no, you're absolutely right.
like very feminine.
Yeah.
I don't want to say masculine, but there was something that was very
Powerful.
almost confrontational physically about the way that she moved around the stage and the way she... And it was just... Because whenever she spoke, she was incredibly gentle and...
That's the contrast.
Yeah, that was the contrast. And I think the most recent time I saw her talking, about a year ago, in an interview. Was there another film about her? Wasn't there, a remake? And I actually felt incredibly sad because the interviewer asked her again about Ike. And she was very gracious.
Is it Ike? I thought it was Ike. Is it Ike? Or
Yeah,
Ike? It is
Ike,
Ike.
yeah.
Tina and Ike. Ike.
Yeah.
Ike Turner.
Asked her about Ike, and you saw her just gather herself with such dignity and said, it's so sad. I always have to talk about him. And I was saying to you this morning, wasn't I? She became this poster girl for domestic violence that she didn't want to be. And in a weird way, the way that everyone's been since about that is actually very misogynistic, because in a way, every interview she did, she had to discuss that.
Well,
it was like, don't define this woman by this monster.
he hadn't necessarily defined her like that. I mean,
No.
he'd been unforgivably awful to her. But I mean, you're right. I think what the press had done was her story. I mean, I think it was born of a good intention. Her story was
Wow.
one of, you know, overcoming all sorts of obstacles and being able to escape the kind of, you know, the
Horrific
clutches
abuse.
of the most horrendous sort of
Horrific.
abuse. And of
Yeah.
course, they had, you know, many hits together and what have you. And this is what was fascinating about her life. She had so many different incarnations. She had that whole chapter with Ike Turner. And then of course she had the whole sort of 1980s sort of time and
Thunderball.
What's the name
of
Mad
the
Max
film?
Beyond
Mad Max.
Thunderdome. We posted
Love
on the
that
Popcorn
film.
Junkies,
Yeah.
absolutely, and she played Auntie Entity. And I think what George Miller did that was very clever in that film was he tapped into, with her star status, because she wasn't an actress, he tapped into the very thing you're talking about, which was
Mad Max.
because she was the antagonist in it. She was
Yeah,
the villain.
she was brilliant.
You know, she was strong, she was powerful, sexy, but not sexualized. You know what I mean? And I think you're right. I think because if you think at the same time, I'm trying to think of another pop star that was sort of aggressive sexually or powerful sexually, and it was Madonna. But that was all about sex. That was all about sort of the suggestion of promiscuity and this and that and the other. Whereas with Tina Turner, it wasn't, was it? It was just power.
It was power, and it was almost like the way that it was like an anthem of survivorship. She was a survivor. She just.
But you're right, she got hijacked.
And it got hijacked. And, you know, as we know, that, you know, the press can be so disingenuous. You know, the way they get the question in about the domestic abuse is to say that you're helping others. But actually, it's just that, it's that voyeuristic need to pick over somebody's sad story. There should have been a point where it was just left.
Yeah, but the other thing that the press do, I mean, you know, people often talk about typecasting when it comes to acting or performing or the type of music that you sing. But there's also typecasting for what you are in your life. So, you know, that is what she is. And so no reporter is ever going to report or go beyond or around what that was. But an interesting fact, which is interesting about the cyclical nature of domestic abuse, her mother walked out on her when she was 11. And the reason her mother walked out, because you hear that and you go, Jesus. But the reason her mother walked out on her was because her father was domestically abusing her mother. So her mother escaped. So she was born into that sort of environment, and then obviously that environment sort of followed her in a sense. To the point that her latest husband, as we were reading this morning,
Oh my God, I love
she
this.
described him as he had the most beautiful face. I saw him, I just knew. He was much younger than, well, not much younger, he was younger than her. He was an executive, wasn't he, at EMI.
Together for 38 years.
And there is no example of love more than, what did he do?
He gave her his kidney.
Quite something.
So she was, yeah. It was such a good story for her in the end for 38 years. And she said that, what was that beautiful line that I read out to you this morning that I loved about the way that he loved her?
Yeah.
She said there was no jealousy, there was no competitiveness. He just, oh sorry, I thought you were getting it up for me so I could read it.
No, I've got so many, I wouldn't know where to start.
And that he just 100% allowed me to be me. I'm massively paraphrasing here.
But
And
the
I
sense.
thought, oh my God, that must have been so lovely after that level of control and abuse. And of course, Ike was so jealous of her and all these things. And it's not often that somebody that's gone through something like that then manages to have
Find the
a
right
really
person.
good, you know, relationship. So she was a genius. I think she was a true performer, astonishing voice. I mean, how old was she? You know, performing at the same level really throughout. I must say, I did used to look at her and think, your knees, how can your knees be taking it? That stomping in those heels.
She was a stomper.
Because my knees, I can't stomp at all now.
No, she was a proper
I mean, I had a
stomper.
bit of a dance last Friday, and my knee, I'm
You were
still
in
paying
pieces.
for it for
Yeah,
my knee.
it was like
with
the
my knees.
marathon. It was like after you ran the marathon, you couldn't walk. You were hobbling.
So rest in peace, dear.
I just
dear
wanted to
Tina
read
Turner.
this out. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
this was her last Instagram post, which I think she posted 2 months ago. And she said this: my kidneys are victims of my not realising that my high blood pressure should have been treated with conventional medicine. I've put myself in great danger by refusing to face the reality that I need daily, lifelong therapy with medication. For far too long, I believed that my body was an untouchable and indestructible bastion.
Oh my God. And what did I say to you this morning? So what did I say to you this morning? I was so
About blood
annoyed
pressure.
because our GP, I'm taking it personally.
She's
now.
on her phone now.
I'm just reading you my text because I keep getting these, right? Dear Miss Sawalha, I'm following up on the email I sent regarding. Oh no, not this.
Whilst Nadia's reading this out,
No, here.
no. Just tell us what your favourite Tina Turner song is. Just write it down here.
Oh, people, yeah.
People.
Sorry, people, I thought you meant me. Reminder of your high blood pressure awareness event on Wednesday, the 31st, at the
like a
Salvation
festival?
Army. I keep getting it. I said to Mark, it's making me feel so old. They sent it to me again today. But what am I? I'm being ridiculous. What?
Hang on a
It's
minute.
not about
It's Comic
being
Con
old.
this weekend. Is this like a blood pressure event at the Excel Centre where
You can be any age and get high blood pressure. Well, I did Dancing on Ice. I did to Proud Mary.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Wow.
I mean, Torval and Dean chose it, not me.
Yeah. Well, here's some of our other classics just before we move on. River Deep, Mountain High.
Oh my God, I played that 5 million times.
Proud Mary.
That Phil Spector album.
Nutbush City Limits.
Loved
Let's
it.
Stay Together.
Oh my God. I'm gonna
With
play them
Heaven
all today.
17. Apparently it was when she appeared on the Tube. So when she appeared on the Tube, do you remember that Channel 4 show that she kind of got her resurgence back in the 80s?
What's Love got
to do? Private Dancer.
Every one of these is a...
Private Dancer.
All right, let's not go too far.
Dancing
It is
for
annoying.
money.
No, that's enough. That's enough. Okay.
We don't need another hero. Come on.
We don't need another hero.
She's covering her mouth to protect the mic. The best, simply the best.
Oh, everyone.
Steamy Windows, and of course I didn't realise she did the theme tune to GoldenEye.
Really sorry,
James Bond.
but I've got to go to the loo. I'm not even joking. Sorry. I'll be back in a sec. Carry on.
For those of you listening, she's been urgently called to the toilet in a curious fashion. I can't pick a favourite, says LN.
Whoa.
Nads. Steamy Windows. Where? Nads is off.
Shush.
Nads is...
Shush. Carry on.
Thank Christ we don't have a radio mic on her. No. Hang on, close the door. Squeaky bum. Oh, what a wonderful... For those of you listening... There you go. So anyway, no, on a more serious note, that's Tina Turner, remembered, tragically missed, only 83. Only 83. So many good songs, aren't there? So many good songs. As I say, I mean, it wasn't my cup of tea, but you couldn't help but admire or notice her. Was she in Live Aid? I think she might have appeared at Live Aid as well. So yeah, those are her 10 top songs. What else? Squeaky bum moment. Everyone's saying in the live chats here. Too much water, Cloda. Yeah, you're right. Close the door, Mark. It's all the talk about private dancers, says Lee Durrant, that sent Nadia off to the toilet. These things do happen, Danielle. You're absolutely right. When you have to go, says Laurel Nichols. Tina Turner would fully respect that. Okay. Are we all right? Everyone said, when you've got to get, it's all the talk of private dancer. She was a true rock star. We did hear it on the news yesterday. Was that a song? We did hear it on the news yesterday.
What did we hear on the news?
I don't know. Sammy Jamart wasn't a huge fan, but can appreciate how iconic she was, says Jennifer Winter. Okay, I don't know if anyone else saw, but Ron DeSantis, or Ron DeSanctimonious, Ron DeSanctimonious, launched his presidential campaign, or his attempt to beat Donald Trump to become the leader of the leader of the Republican Party, or the representative or candidate for the Republican Party. Ron DeSantis launched his bid rather misguidedly with Elon Musk's help. Elon said, let's do it on Twitter. And let's do the first time where we've done a really mass live, a sort of feed, if you like, an audio feed. And it was, I mean, I had my alert on and I was waiting for it to start. They got to 500,000, 500,000, which in and of itself you think, well, that's not an awful lot, is it? 500,000, go live. And did anyone hear it? It became an absolute shit show. It crashed. They started to sound like aliens.
Oh, no.
Then it went off. Then Elon Musk had to phone up a tech guy and say, Terry, can you give us some more bandwidth?
No, do you actually still...
Literally, he had to call in more bandwidth,
Oh
went
my
down,
God.
and then eventually it came back up and they had about 40,000 listeners. of course, Donald Trump, who is in all sorts of shit, let's face it, in all sorts of civil courts and cases and all that kind of stuff. He's loving it. He's absolutely loving it. But
what did he say?
I'm going to share what he said in a minute. He said, well, one of the things he says is, Ron DeSanctimonious, he needs a personality transplant. He's a traitor. He's a Twitter. What a Twitter. So Donald Trump absolutely loving it. He labelled DeSantis disloyal. He needs a personality transplant. Look, Rob DeSanctimonious came to me asking for help. He was losing badly by 31 points. He was getting ready to drop out of the race and run a terrible campaign. But anyway, so this plays directly into Trump's playbook, right? And so, of course, the chat now is that he's claiming, DeSantis is claiming that he broke the internet, which is a little bit embarrassing when it was 40,000 in the end.
Oh, dear. So did he get anywhere in the end?
He got some stuff
What
out.
did he...
He said he's going to build the wall. He's taken all my best... He's taking all of Trump's policies.
He's not building a wall.
He says he's going to continue building the wall.
Well, that was his best
Well, he's going to try to keep building the wall.
He's going to continue to build the Bigley Wall.
The internet broke him.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. You got to open your mouth like a cat's arse. But anyway, yeah, so Donald Trump absolutely lapping it up. I'm trying to find some of his other comments. Trump mocked the launch as glitch-ridden audio went into server meltdown. And Trump posted, wow, the sanctimonious Twitter launch is a disaster. His whole campaign will be a disaster. Watch, he said on his own social media platform. So yeah, I think unfortunately it will have done a huge disservice to DeSantis. I don't think he's gonna do well. No. I think he's gonna be viewed as incompetent already.
Doesn't bode well.
Already. Nads, tell us about Shakira.
God, do you remember when Tom Cruise was on Oprah Winfrey years ago?
I do.
And he had fallen in love with Katie. Was it Holmes? What was that actress's name that he was married to?
Not Katy Perry.
No, Holmes. Katie Holmes.
Katie Holmes.
Yeah. And he leapt up on all fours almost on the Oprah sofa. And I think it did him more damage than almost anything else because it was possibly the most ick thing you've ever seen. Do you remember it, guys? Did you get the ick?
It's possibly one of the most lasting impressions I have of him because he didn't just jump on the sofa. He was bouncing up and down like a toddler.
But he went from like sitting up and like praying like a frog. He landed, so it was very odd. And people saying they remember, and it was such an egg. Yes, Pink Lady, absolutely awful. Just
jumping on the sofa. Yeah.
Yeah, completely weird. Well, I don't know if I think it was last week. There was rumours and that he and Shakira had got together. There's photos of them at the Grand Prix in Miami. Formula One, I think that's cars, isn't it?
Yeah. Your Formula 2, babe.
Yeah, and so like I imagine his then people and all the things that we've ever heard about.
Someone's people to someone else's people.
Then put out that there was something going on between them. Yeah. Well, apparently Shakira is just astonished by this. She had a perfectly nice chat with him. She thought he was lovely. She's admired his work, but that was it. But apparently he went to his people like straight away afterwards, like, there's a connection. I know there's a connection. And so apparently, sources say she's had to beg him to stop.
Yeah, apparently he says he was
because
absolutely
she's not interested.
mesmerised.
Mesmerised, and there was a connection.
Mesmerised.
So she's not having any of it. She don't fancy him, and she wants him to bog off. She was just being friendly. She's flattered, but not interested, the source says. And it just got me thinking, it was so funny yesterday. I was listening to our daughters in the garden. One of them was saying, talking to the other one about how her friend had come up with a new ick. And she went, oh my God, you won't believe it. Never mentioned any of their names. So, told me about an ick that I'd never thought of. And our other daughter went, oh, what? She goes, well, so a boy drops a coin, like a 20 pence piece, and then he low level tries to go after it and catch it. This is two teams, and the other daughter goes, oh God, yeah, no, gross.
It's funny you should say that.
It was so funny because I thought, I know what they mean.
There's an unwritten rule in male chat, which is you don't chase the coin. Don't ever
especially
chase
when you
the
put it
coin.
to piece, because it's going to go weird.
Well, because especially if you do it too early. If you really need to chase the coin,
chop it with your foot.
Well, either you do it with great, huge masculine stomp, but more often than not, it's got away from you. And if you go chasing it with your foot, that's even worse because you're then.
Ow!
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
No, but the best tip for chasing the coin is just let it roll and glide to a hole. And if you really need it, just make a mental note and get it later. But
Imagine if you're
chase the
seen
coin.
later by the girl at the bus stop though.
Never. It's true. I seem to. You've got to. Yeah, I was saying to Nance, the only other exception to that is when it's a £1 coin, especially if you're a man of a certain age, because of course that's your trolley coin, isn't it, at the
I
supermarket?
think that's quite ick. If you're thinking about the trolley.
Well, I was thinking about that rather than the fact that Shakira's hit single is "The Hips Don't Lie," because that's conjuring all sorts of things for me.
But then they were going on and about, so they go low level. He goes low level to try and get it. But then he runs away with his feet. So he's sort of falling over himself. I was around the corner listening. It really did make me laugh.
Yeah, someone's just saying there, do you remember when Tom Cruise banned Katie Holmes from making any noise during labour?
Yes.
I do.
That's a Scientology thing.
Yeah.
Have any of you watched the ultimate Scientology movie? It is an absolute must-watch, isn't it? It's really long, but my God, I was gripped for every minute of it. It was
So many
good.
people. I mean, I do. It's like Simon Pegg was recently in the press talking about his relationship with Tom Cruise and how he never mentioned Scientology. I wonder whether Tom Cruise is aware that his Scientology thing is the thing that people are most suspicious of. And so the way he copes with it is he laughs, smiles, and chatters insatiably and ferociously quickly. So no one can get a word in about Scientology. Everyone must just look at... I mean, I look at him and think, well, something's working for him. Well, it could be the fact that Top Gun made zillions, bazillions, gazillions. But weren't you wanting to talk about how do you get rid of someone who's heavily flirting? Well, how difficult... What do you do?
No, it was just that weird thing, and I often will have this conversation with our girls. They'll be chattering away, telling me about some boy that's a friend or something, and I'll say, be careful. It sounds like they might like you. Oh no, they don't. And I was having this conversation with them the other day. I said, God, this is so classic that when you don't fancy someone at all and you're young, you just have no concept that they fancy you. And 9 times out of 10, I'm right, because then down the road they'll say, oh, I thought I liked him. I went, yep, I know, because when you're young and you feel really comfortable with a boy, you'll just, because I'll say, well, be careful being that nice and be careful because he might get the, and he's like, oh no, just like my brother, and hugging and kissing and hold their hand because there's no attraction there. And of course, then the poor person, and it can work the other way, of course, thinks that, oh, there is something much more meaningful going on here. But letting down unrequited love is just the worst feeling, isn't it? If somebody you can feels something for you and you don't, and it's just like, oh God, how do I let them down?
But sometimes you sort of think, how can this person not get the hint? So of course I read a story like that and I think, oh come on, Tom, she must have made it pretty obvious. And does that mean that should we assume that he's just arrogant enough to think she would fancy him, and that's why he's persisting and pushing?
Well, we don't know, because we don't know the ins and outs of any of this, but I think there's something in that line that he went to his people and said he felt a really strong connection. Well, the thing is, connect means 2 things need to meet and fit. You can't have a connection without another connection coming the other way. Which leads us quite nicely onto our little Love Island story, which I thought was quite interesting. I'm feeling a connection.
Yeah,
I'm feeling a connection.
Feeling a connection. Okay, well, on that note,
I just thought this was a bit interesting on that, from the whole mental health perspective because years ago when I was in Celebrity Big Brother and the psychiatrist came to see me beforehand. I think in the old days it was very much, let's see if you're mad enough to do this, and then they would tick and say, yeah, she's definitely mad enough, let her in. But I think because there has been so many tragedies and so much, a lot of more awareness actually. And that's why, though we watch programs like Love Island because we just we just love to watch shit TV, actually. We find it's on, we don't drink wine at night, so we watch shit TV and it de-stresses us. But we're really mindful. When I think back to when we first used to watch Love Island, and we'd be like, oh God, and you'd be having so many constant opinions on people, and now I don't. I will a bit, like I do my lives, but I'm really mindful not to go into somebody, because you really cannot have any idea what it's like to be in that hyper-focused situation with multiple cameras on 24/7 for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I think that it's great that there is so much more attention given to the mental health of these people now.
But I just want to say, I do think a program like Love Island presents a real dilemma for people online and on social media, because, you know, and I'm not being an apologist here for obvious trolls and what have you, but it's encouraging you to have, this content is encouraging you to have strong opinions on people. And I think we felt it with Married at First Sight. And I find myself, you know, very often being drawn up to, so I had very strong opinions on certain characters within Married at First Sight, say, or Love Island or what have you. And then going to voice them, which is all part of the chit chat. Everyone's doing this for likes and traffic and content and profiles. It's very hard for a lot of people to stay the right side of not sounding critical, and what to one person is light-hearted bants, again becomes to another person something that might home in on, something they've always been sensitive about, and then it spirals.
Well, I think if you think of it like, how would I feel if somebody was writing this about my child?
No, but I think
that's the law. That's the rule, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I do in terms of myself, but I think in
the
terms
analysis
of resolve,
is just delicious, and
analysis,
between the two of us, we will analyse into the deepest depths of it. Because we're quite sad fucks, really.
Yeah.
But I think you have to be so mindful about what you put out online. But
well,
anyway,
these are new rules, social media rules, and other rules, and duty of care kind of provisions that are being put in place by the producers of Love Island. The summer version. One of them is social media training, and this is going to be a ban on any of the contestants' families or friends running their social media accounts. This is to prevent people sort of, you know, trolling them and attacking them and content going on, because I think a lot of families operate as them, don't they? Once they go in, so they're going to,
and then they're not at all versed in how to deal with trolls. You know, you get into the thing of like answering a troll, you're in a mess. You never answer them, you just block them.
Like, and what's good about this is that the producers and the team have liaised and worked with former contestants. I like that. This for me is good in terms of, you know, and so former Islanders have backed these changes in terms of, you know, sort of making new contestants aware. And then also teaching them how to deal with it and manage it once they come out. The potential possibly of maybe having someone who's a moderator of some form to kind of just put a little kind of bit of a buffer zone between them and the coverage that they get once they come out, obviously. They're talking about the comprehensive psychological support that they're going to get in there. They have a 2-week period before they enter the villa, apparently, where they learn how to cope with being filmed for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Nothing will prepare you.
So once they're in there, they'll have already done 2 weeks. They'll have already done 2 weeks of something similar. They provide support not just to the contestants, but to the family members in terms of social media.
It's funny though, isn't it? I think I was talking about this a few weeks ago. Years ago, when I first went into EastEnders and they did this big chat with me, you know, you do understand that, you know, we want the audience to know your faces. If you're one of their family members, you'll be shot in close up for the first year. You don't change a single thing. So everybody, you've got to understand that this is the level. At that time, it was like, I think it was about 15 million people watching. And I went, yeah, that'll be fine. And they do. And of course, nothing prepares. Same actually with Big Brother when they gave me the big chat. And I went, oh God, I'm going to be fine. Oh no, don't be silly. And of course, it wasn't fine. It was really tough. So I think that it sounds like here that they've got a proper framework, a proper plan, but you still can't. You still can't prepare. And what I think is interesting about this should be the same kind of attention for all young people and social media. You need to be having this conversation.
Yeah.
You know, don't get into it with trolls, you know, mindful of...
But the other really good thing that they're doing is all Islanders, before they go in, will complete video training and guidance prior to going in around things such as microaggressions and the ways in which misogyny and you know, whatever the reverse is, can creep in. You know, toxic femininity, excuse me, toxic masculinity. Almost like a sort of health and safety awareness video. I mean, I think that's really
But
good.
I wonder if
I
this
think
is
that's
something that
really
could
sensible.
be-
And Women's Aid have said that this is really good.
But why can't they put this in schools?
I was going to say,
I mean, maybe
Jesus, why do you
this-
have to go on Love Island to get all this?
No, but wouldn't that be amazing
saying.
if out of that,
Yeah.
out of this, that did become something that
I
was,
totally
was
agree.
pushed out
I
further?
totally agree. So there you go. So I think producers taking the responsibility seriously there, which is good.
So, guys, thank you. Whether you're at home with us on YouTube, looking at the pair of us, or whether you're listening on podcast, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
I need another coffee now.
Yeah, I need another coffee as well. And
So-
Nadia is now going to pop her knickers back on for those of you who are listening.
So, anyone who's listening, whether on YouTube or on podcast, please subscribe. It's really nice for us to see how many people, and share, because it's nice to bring more people into this community. And we love you lots, like Jelly Tots. See you tomorrow.
And also, by the way, lots of people notifying us that we were indeed in the Channel 4 Johnny Depp Amber Heard documentary. Quite a bit of us reacting to
You're joking.
all of our stuff around the trial. Yeah, so we
You're
must go and check that out at some
joking.
point. Anyway, guys,
That's you. You were
have
fantastic.
a lovely day.